Developing right now on Morning News Now, holiday rush. This morning, tens of millions of Americans heading out of town for Memorial Day in what is expected to be a record-setting weekend for travel. All this as gas prices soar to their highest level in years. Plus, another round of severe storms could threaten those holiday plans. We are tracking it all. Also this morning, President Trump facing the fallout on Capitol Hill. Senate Republicans scrapping a vote on funding ICE and Border Patrol over concerns about that anti-weaponization fund that's $1.8 billion taxpayer dollars meant for those who say they were unfairly prosecuted under the Biden administration, which could include January 6 rioters pardoned by the president.
Look, under what circumstances would it ever make sense to provide restitution for people who were either pled guilty or were found guilty in a court of law?
Americans didn't vote for a slush fund to bail out January 6th insurrectionists with felony convictions.
Now, the president defending his plan. We will take you to Washington. Plus, a new warning from the Surgeon General about the dangers of too much screen time for kids. What parents need to know. And the last laugh, at least for now, Stephen Colbert signing off from The Late Show on CBS in a star-studded final episode last night. We will have the highlights and his message to viewers. What did you think of the guest list?
I just, was it the Pope? That's the big question. Was the Pope going to show up? We'll have your answer in just a moment. Good morning. Good to have you with us on this Friday before the Memorial Day weekend. I'm Joe Fryer.
Yeah, there you go. It's Friday. It's a holiday. Isn't that nice? I'm Savannah Sellers. Thanks for being with us. We are going to begin this morning with that big Memorial Weekend getaway that is now underway. Even though those gas prices are sky high, AAA predicts a record-breaking 45 million Americans will travel this weekend, with most people driving rather than flying.
It's not just high fuel prices impacting travel plans. Severe storms and flooding also wreaking havoc in what's expected to be a holiday weekend washout. NBC News senior correspondent Tom Costello has the latest.
On a rain-soaked highway near Chattanooga, a very close call as a semi tips over on I-24, sending sparks flying as it skids down the highway. While America's biggest city continues to dry out from the deluge that flooded streets, highways, and intersections, snarling traffic. New Yorkers wading through knee-deep water, with high winds bringing down trees and power lines Wednesday. A Waymo taxi flooded out in Atlanta, and heavy traffic. Meanwhile, one of New York's critical high-density runways remains closed.
422 is closed for a sinkhole over there.
After a sinkhole opened up on LaGuardia Runway 4.
The tower just called us and said they cannot take any more airplanes.
As the weather led to a cascade of delays and cancellations at all three New York airports. One Newark passenger says he was stuck on a plane for hours.
We ended up just sitting on the tarmac for 7 hours.
America's two busiest airports, Chicago and Atlanta, packed.
Come early and just prepare for anything.
And the start of more record-breaking passenger levels this summer. For its part, American expects to carry a record 75 million passengers between now and Labor Day. That's 500 customers every minute. And Americans are paying more. Domestic airfares now averaging $441 round trip, up 53% from a year ago. On the nation's roads, the national average now $4.56 a gallon, up from $3.18 a year ago, with the war pushing gas prices above $4 in all 50 states.
It's definitely a problem because we are headed to South Carolina, so this is a long trip.
Still, despite the higher airfares, the TSA is expecting to screen more than 18 million people this extended holiday weekend, and even more over the summer, with record numbers of travelers coming for the America 250 celebrations and the World Cup. All of that leading to very high numbers of passengers coming through America's cities. Back to you.
All right, Tom, thank you.
Now let's get to meteorologist Angie Lassman for a look at that travel forecast.
Angie, good morning.
Hi, guys. Good morning. We indeed have a couple of troubled spots when it comes to travel and even just being outdoors as we get through this weekend. Let's start with what we're seeing right now. Satellite and radar picking up a couple of spots that are kind of a bit bumpy this morning. You can see across parts of the Central Plains, we've already got some of those thunderstorms going. Same goes for parts of the Gulf Coast and then stretching up into the Mid-Atlantic. And those are just some spots that we're going to kind of see this pesky front front hanging around. Slow mover anywhere from Texas to the northeast is where it's going to make some impacts. We've got this cold ocean air kind of coming into the northeast. You'll notice that if you get out the door today and even through the weekend, temperatures much cooler than they were at the start of the week. And then we've got this tropical moisture kind of fueling some of that flooding concern across parts of the Gulf Coast. So this is all going to be with us at least through Monday. Here's what the forecast looks like. Let's start with the northeast. Cold, cloudy, rain, and more rain. That's really kind of the setup that we're going to see. New York City Saturday, just 58 degrees, dealing with rain throughout the day. That goes into Sunday, mid-60s, and we finally get back into the 70s by Monday. And across the Northeast, I think Monday is going to be the best day of all. It doesn't mean that it's going to be a great day to be outdoors, but you will get some breaks in the rain, and you'll see temperatures kind of rebound to those 70s, so it'll be a little more comfortable. As we move to the Midwest, much better for our friends there. Still some rain in Detroit on Saturday, but otherwise, we've got high 70s, if not 80s in Chicago by Monday. We've got plenty of sunshine across the board for Minneapolis, as well as St. Louis. Down through the south, more rain for our friends in Atlanta. It'll be warm, of course, into the 80s, but they'll have to dodge some of those raindrops. Dallas, you, of course, are seeing temperatures in the 80s, too. Not so much when it comes to the rain. And then Miami looks great. Upper 80s, 90s, plenty of sunshine there. I think we all need to book a trip to Miami. Or how about Phoenix, where there's full sunshine, temperatures into the 90s.
Wow.
If we look closer to the coast for our friends across the West, San Francisco, you end up into the mid-60s with a little bit more cloud cover, but really not a bad forecast from Seattle to Los Angeles, Denver even into the low 80s Sunday and Monday. We'll see plenty of sunshine in both of those places. So really, the trouble spots are going to be parts of the southeast and the northeast. Otherwise, looks like a great weekend for everyone.
Your
else.
delivery there was perfect, by the way. You were like, cold, cloudy, rain.
No, more rain.
Yesterday it was lousy.
Lousy. Listen, I'm a straight shooter, guys. I got to tell you how it is.
I've been seeing all these memes that are like an evil genius being like, let's give them a taste of summer, and then rain out their Memorial Day.
Exactly.
It's just a picture of me.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. You're the evil genius.
I wish I could change it for my own benefit, too, guys.
All right, we'll see you in an hour. Thanks, Andrew. Well, now let's get to Capitol Hill, where Senate leaders have canceled a planned funding vote over the Trump administration's anti-weaponization fund. This comes as lawmakers are expressing their concerns on this nearly $1.8 billion fund that would give payouts to people who claim they were targeted by the government. As NBC News correspondent Alice Barr tells us, some Republicans are also pushing back on this and other issues.
Hi there. President Trump is coming off a clean sweep of candidates he endorsed in Republican primaries. And there's no question he has broad GOP support in Congress. But the strength of the opposition to a couple key issues is raising questions about Republican fault lines. Fresh off primary victories for Trump-backed candidates, the president is hitting headwinds in Congress, with some Republicans balking at a pair of priorities. First up, a $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund.
This is just stupid on stilts.
The plan to use taxpayer money to pay back people who claim they were unfairly prosecuted under the Biden administration. That could include convicted January 6 rioters the president pardoned.
These people don't deserve restitution. Many of them deserve to be in prison.
The Senate scrapped a Thursday vote on a Republican package to fund ICE and Border Patrol after a closed-door briefing with top Justice Department officials on the anti-weaponization fund left GOP senators with serious questions.
The kind of gut reaction is, that's not right. And if it's not right, we shouldn't be doing it.
Cassidy is one of two sitting Republican senators President Trump opposed in the primaries. Now, with some GOP members of both the Senate and House also objecting to $1 billion in funding for White House ballroom security.
What I do not support is one single dime of taxpayer money going to a ballroom.
NBC News pressed the president on the new fractures.
Are you losing control of the Senate Republicans?
I don't know. I really don't know.
The president still has broad GOP support in Congress and has sharply defended his proposals, long railing against Biden-era prosecutions and arguing the White House
It won't be a very secure place
without the ballroom funding. Police officers who defended the Capitol on January 6 have already sued to block the anti-weaponization fund. The acting attorney general said an applicant's record of violent behavior would be taken into consideration, with 5 commissioners set to be chosen in the coming weeks to decide who gets paid. Back to you.
All right, Alice, thank you.
Staying in Washington, the Senate wasn't the only chamber of Congress to abandon votes this week. Yesterday, House GOP leaders canceled a vote on the Iran War Powers Resolution, something that did advance in the Senate earlier this week.
The measure would require President Trump to remove U.S. troops from Iran that are not necessary to defend the U.S. and its allies from imminent attack. It will now come up for a vote after the Memorial Day recess in June.
For more on this, let's bring in NBC News White House correspondent Monica Alba. Monica, good to have you with us. So what are House Republicans saying about why this vote was canceled and how are Democrats responding?
Well, Joe and Savannah, this is another interesting example of some of the cracks that we are seeing that are just emerging more and more within the Republican Party. And essentially, Republicans are saying that they had some members who couldn't be present for this vote, and that's why they scrapped it. But Democrats are taking a different approach. They're saying that they believe that this would have passed. This would have potentially limited the president's ability to continue this conflict with Iran. Here is how Congressman Meeks specifically put the situation. Listen.
We had a vote because of this president's war of choice that was going to pass. We had the votes without question, and they knew it.
And what's important to remind everybody about this is that the president doesn't even think he needs this kind of congressional approval for the ongoing war because of the current ceasefire. But it's that 60-day deadline that has already expired, according to lawmakers, that would require the president to do this and certainly would apply if he decides to restart major combat military operations, guys.
So, Monica, the House failed to pass a similar resolution last week, but notably 3 Republicans crossed the aisle to vote with Democrats in favor of it. Walk us through how Republicans have changed their stance on this as this war stretched on.
Over the weeks, we have really just seen the polling kind of reflect and capture a snapshot of what I think a lot of these lawmakers are coming to terms with, which is this is a very unpopular war, and it has driven up prices, the price of gas, groceries, a lot of other things that Americans were already contending with and facing. And so given that, you have seen some Republicans and many Democratic critics raise those concerns about why this needs to continue. But also, you're really seeing this, and you talked about this with Senator Cassidy as well, who is a Republican. The Republicans who had been allies of the president, that the president has gone against, have now also become even more critical after we have seen them lose primaries like Senator Cassidy did in the Senate.
Monica, let's switch gears here. The DNC released that long-awaited 2024 autopsy election report. Also, the DNC chair basically apologizing. Talk about some of the key takeaways here.
Yeah, and this was kind of a weird one because this was commissioned by the DNC, but it wasn't completed. It's riddled with errors and inaccuracies, and the DNC had said some months ago that they were never going to release it. It was never going to become public, but then they changed their minds and did put it out, they said, in the interest of transparency. But some of the interesting insights within it are the idea that Joe Biden's White House, the last administration, didn't do enough, according to this DNC autopsy, to support Vice President Harris when she emerged and when she obviously took over the ticket when former President Biden dropped out. So they talk a little bit about that and just some of the soul searching that Democrats need to do and the party overall to change in order to be, as they would say, victorious in the coming elections. But something else that they focused on is this idea that they need to appeal more, according to this report, to middle America and to some of those voters that obviously were not there and that could have contributed to the former vice president's defeat in 2024.
All right, guys. Monica Alba, thank you so much.
Well, in Minnesota, the Justice Department has announced charges against 15 people for allegedly defrauding Medicaid and several other state-run social services programs. As NBC News Chief Justice and National Affairs correspondent Kelly O'Donnell tells us, the alleged scheme totaled more than $90 million.
In Minnesota, the FBI urged the public to help find a fleeing suspect caught on video, wanted in a sweeping healthcare fraud investigation.
I want you to get a good look at him.
Authorities say the man jumped off a 4th-story balcony, visibly limping to escape arrest.
Too often here in Minnesota lately, fraudsters have turned government programs into their own personal ATMs.
The Department of Justice investigation announced charges against 15 they describe as owners of child care centers and Medicaid providers. The DOJ says this fraud scheme could have reached $90 million, putting the vulnerable at risk.
One patient was supposed to be receiving 24-hour care through this program, but he was actually being serviced by a fraudster. and received no services. This patient was later found dead.
In a separate investigation, a lengthy prison sentence, nearly 42 years behind bars for Amy Bach, convicted in a $250 million COVID-related case as the former head of a nonprofit food program that prosecutors said filed fraudulent claims and took kickbacks. Police in Minnesota say they have arrested that fleeing suspect at a home linked to one of his alleged co-conspirators, charged in what the DOJ calls a fraud scheme.
All right, Kelly, thank you. A Virginia judge issued a major decision in that high-profile school shooting case. Yesterday, Newport News Circuit Court Judge Rebecca Robinson dismissed all criminal charges against a former elementary school assistant principal, Ebony Parker. Ebony Parker. She was charged with not doing enough to prevent a school shooting.
The court is of the legal opinion that this is not a crime, not under the common law of Virginia, nor under the code of Virginia. Therefore, I do grant defense motion to strike in whole on all counts, all 8 counts of felony child abuse and endangerment under indictment CR, indictment number 24999.
Parker there could be seen and heard sobbing as she was cleared of the 8 felony counts of child endangerment against her. She faced 1 count for each bullet inside the gun of the 6-year-old who shot his teacher back in January 2023. Prosecutors had alleged that Parker ignored Rich Neck Elementary School staff when they warned her 4 times that the first grader had brought a gun to school. She could have faced up to 5 years in prison for each count. The judge said Parker's actions did not constitute a crime under Virginia state law. This move abruptly brings an end to a first-of-its-kind trial meant to hold administrators accountable in school shootings.
Well, Facebook parent company Meta is settling a major youth mental health lawsuit, which was brought on by a Kentucky school district against multiple social media companies. Now, Meta was the last one to settle after co-defendants TikTok, Snap, and YouTube parent company Alphabet all reached similar settlements earlier this week. The companies are accused of creating addictive social media platforms that drive up anxiety, depression, and self-harm among youth, leaving schools to deal with the consequences.
The companies still deny the allegations, and they say they've taken measures to protect young users. The financial terms of the settlement were not disclosed, but the school district had sought more than $60 million to create a 15-year program to help tackle mental health issues caused by social media. The lawsuit was selected as a bellwether for 1,200 similar claims brought by other school districts.
NBC News legal analyst Misty Maris joins us now to talk more about this. Misty, always good to have you with us. Good morning. So the settlement, it doesn't include, of course, an admission of guilt. That's not what a settlement means. But what can we learn from this decision by Meta and the other social media companies to settle rather than go to trial?
So every time you have a settlement, to your point, Savannah, the first line in that settlement agreement is nobody is admitting liability. This is for the purpose of avoiding protracted litigation. But what we can see from settling this case, this is the first one that's brought by a school district that was going to go to trial. And looking back at the cases that have gone to trial thus far, there's one in California brought by a single plaintiff, liability ruling ultimately. Then you have New Mexico brought by a state, liability. So now this was the first school district case. And presumably what Meta is doing and the other social media companies looking at this globally, there's many cases waiting in the wings, and strategically acting. So settling some and pushing others towards trial. So I think this is part of a larger global strategy relating to all of the cases that they're facing.
You know, the plaintiffs' attorneys say their focus now is on pursuing justice for those remaining school districts filing these similar suits. I mean, given this was seen as a bellwether, could we expect a similar outcome for these other cases? Is this just the first domino of many that could fall?
Yeah, so these school district cases, there's 1,200 of them in this pool of 1,600 plus cases that we see. So that's a significant portion of them. And the legal theories, for the most part, are negligence and public nuisance. So that's similar to what we saw play out in the other cases that have gone to trial, similar legal theories. I think you're going to see some of these getting picked off as they get closer and closer to the courtroom. And then there'll be one at some point that will go all the way. I'm wondering if there is a movement by both the plaintiffs' attorneys as well as the social media companies looking at these cases. which ones do they believe are the strongest? Which ones do they believe will be the best tester cases? Because they're not selecting them, they're getting chosen randomly. So we could see this other cases resolving before actually going to trial as well.
So, Misty, there's this patchwork of legal action taking place across the country. But if we focus in on this particular one here that was just settled. So, Meta pays this money as these other platforms did. There's that financial piece of it. But could we see any real change be forced on these platforms that means stricter protections for kids, that means we don't see some of this mental health harm?
So settlements include non-monetary concessions too, meaning things that aren't money. I doubt that any of these social media companies are going to agree to that in a settlement, because a settlement is an agreement, some sweeping change. But keep an eye on New Mexico, because that case brought by the Attorney General, 375 million damages. However, it is in phase 2. And part of what phase 2 is, a judge contemplating whether to impose changes, including changes to the algorithm to make it less addictive, that could be imposed by a court order. Now, what does that mean from the global perspective? That's just New Mexico. So you have other attorney generals, 30 plus, seeking similar relief across the country. What if those cases come out differently? What if the imposition of change is different? It's a difficult thing, but I think you could see their hand forced, specifically when it comes to the cases that are brought by the states.
All right, Misty, thank you so much. Well, the motorsport community is mourning the loss of a legend today after NASCAR superstar Kyle Busch died at the age of 41. His family posted on social media yesterday that he'd been hospitalized with a severe illness and would be undergoing treatment. They did not specify the illness. And then hours later, NASCAR confirmed in a statement he had passed away. Busch is one of the most decorated drivers in NASCAR's history. He won 234 races across NASCAR's 3 national series. He also won Cup Series titles in 2015 and 2019. In a statement, NASCAR said, "Our entire family is heartbroken by the loss of Kyle Busch. A future Hall of Famer, Kyle was a rare talent, one who comes along once in a generation."
Last night marked the end of an era in late-night TV. Stephen Colbert hosted the very last Late Show on CBS. Paramount Skydance announced it was canceling the show last July, calling it a financial decision. Colbert sat in that chair for 11 years, taking over from the great David Letterman.
As you would expect, the show was filled with celebrity cameos. We're showing them here on your screen. Bryan Cranston, Tim Meadows, who Colbert worked with since the early 1990s, and Paul Rudd. And after a running gag, as Joe pointed out earlier this morning, that the Pope would be the last guest, Colbert revealed Paul McCartney as the real final guest. Before things took a sci-fi turn, here's a taste of it all.
I'll say to you what I've said to every audience for the last 11 years, and I have meant it every time. Have a good show. Thanks for being here. And let's do it, y'all. Tonight is our final broadcast from the Ed Sullivan Theater, where... No, we were lucky enough to be here for the last 11 years. Yes. All right? That was... Can't take this for granted. We're planning on doing a huge special this evening, but the thing is, we like to think every episode of The Late Show is kind of special. And we thought the best way to celebrate what we've done over the last 11 years is just do a regular episode.
You said there's nothing special happening tonight?
Well, I mean, as I was saying, we're doing a normal episode of The Late Show, which is always kind of special.
Maybe I could be your last guest.
Ooh. That would be great, Brian. The thing is, and I'm right here, we already have a pretty special one lined up. Paul, you'd be my perfect last guest. What are you doing here, Paul?
Well, I was just in the area. I was doing some errands.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, actually, I brought something for you.
That's here?
Right here.
Wow. To Stephen, you're better than the Beatles.
No.
Paul McCartney.
No, it doesn't.
It does. That's what I read.
The hole's here. You can't ignore it. The only choice you have now is how you choose to walk through it. You can go in kicking and screaming.
That one.
Or you can do what you've done for the past 30 years when faced with something dark. You can stare it down, and you can laugh.
And that's exactly what happened. It's now just an empty hole there where the Ed Sullivan Theater once sat. It was such a fitting bookend because when you think of the fact that the Beatles had their iconic 1964 performance on the Ed Sullivan Show to bring out Paul McCartney to play it to a close, it just felt right.
It's just in that moment. It's like he's so quick. You're better than the Beatles. It's just so good. Ugh, we'll miss him. All right, much more to come here on Morning News Now. Later this hour, growing concerns about an Ebola outbreak in Africa. The new precautions here in the U.S. to keep the deadly disease from reaching American soil.
Up first, right after the break, new developments out of the UK. Why police are renewing a call for witnesses in their investigation into the former Prince Andrew. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are following some new developments out of the UK this morning. British police are renewing their call for witnesses as they investigate alleged misconduct involving Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the younger brother of King Charles. Investigators say they're reviewing new information tied to Jeffrey Epstein. That includes reports a woman was taken to a Windsor property for sexual purposes in 2010. Police say they've been in touch with the woman's lawyer and hope to speak with her. The former Prince Andrew was arrested earlier this year on suspicion of misconduct in public office following scrutiny over his ties to Epstein. The 66-year-old has not been charged. He denies any wrongdoing.
Well, U.S. officials are rushing to keep a fast-moving Ebola outbreak in Africa from reaching American soil, now diverting some international flights for extra screening. It comes as protesters in the Democratic Republic of the Congo set fire to a medical clinic amid growing fears over the deadly virus. NBC News correspondent Maggie Vespa has the latest.
Outrage amid Africa's Ebola outbreak. New video showing a medical clinic engulfed in flames. Authorities say protesters were angry officials wouldn't release the body of a loved one likely killed by the virus. Here, beds burned to a crisp. Experts stressing safe burials are critical because Ebola can spread through contact with infected remains. This as the race to contain the outbreak wreaks havoc in the skies, with an Air France flight to Detroit diverted to Canada Wednesday after U.S. officials say a passenger from the Democratic Republic of Congo boarded in error. Customs and Border Protection not clarifying whether the traveler had recently been in the DRC or was exhibiting symptoms of Ebola. Debbie Mister was on that flight.
I'm very concerned. I have friends that have, immune problems. Why was this person allowed on this plane? How did they slip through?
The U.S. now sending all passengers who have visited affected countries in the last 3 weeks to Washington Dulles International Airport, where the CDC will conduct enhanced public health entry screenings. Meanwhile, chilling new images of Dr. Peter Stafford, the American surgeon infected with Ebola, in a fully enclosed biocontainment pod earlier this week. The doctor saying, before I was evacuated, I was feeling really concerned I wasn't going to make it. And now I'm cautiously optimistic. But experts say with cases soaring in Africa, global spread is likely.
Would you be surprised to see cases in the U.S.? I would not be surprised to see cases in the United States. However, we do have a network of hospitals that are prepared to deal with it. It gives us an advantage over other countries.
And amid all of this stateside, there's definitely some finger pointing going on. NBC News spoke to a dozen former federal employees who say the Trump administration's gutting of USAID funding last year has slowed America's response to this Ebola outbreak, allowing case numbers they believe to climb higher and faster. Back to you.
All right, Maggie, thank you. And by the way, ahead of next month's World Cup, the Democratic Republic of the Congo has moved its soccer training camp to Belgium.
All right, a U.S. aircraft carrier, the USS Nimitz, has arrived in the Caribbean Sea amid these escalating tensions between the U.S. and Cuba.
Yeah, the ship arrived the same day the Justice Department announced murder charges against former Cuban President Raul Castro. President Trump denies his administration is trying to intimidate the island nation. NBC News senior national security correspondent Courtney Cubie has the details.
The USS Nimitz carrier strike group arrived in the Caribbean Sea on Wednesday after it spent several weeks down off the coast of South America. Now, this was intended to be the Nimitz's swan song of a deployment. It's the Navy's oldest carrier, and it was intended to go spend some time on an exercise off the coast of South America with a bunch of South American partners, then make its way back up to Norfolk, Virginia, where it would be decommissioned. But the Navy just announced that, in fact, they're going to extend its life life for at least 10 months into 2027. And now it's arrived not too far from Cuba. Of course, this comes as the Trump administration has made it clear that they see Cuba as a direct national security threat to the United States. The carrier strike group, which includes 2 escort ships, is a show of force, or a show of presence at least, to Cuba. Now, U.S. officials tell us that there is no indication of any imminent U.S. military movement on Cuba. But the reality is the regime there is facing a lot of turmoil. There have been protests recently, in recent weeks, by Cuban citizens, specifically over the fact that they have a terrible time with energy. They don't have electricity for large portions of the day. And there has been an enormous gas shortage all across the island, leading to these widespread protests. Now, that turmoil may be something that the Trump administration could try to exploit. Just on Thursday, we heard from President Trump, where he said that Cuba is a failed state. Secretary of State Marco Rubio also repeated that, and again repeated the idea that Cuba is a national security risk to the United States. But he declined to say what the Trump administration could possibly do about that potential national security risk, repeating instead that it's an island only miles from the United States, and there are adversaries that actively operate on that island. As of now, this show of presence by these U.S. Navy ships seems to be nothing more than that. But with the extended life of the Nimitz, it's possible that they could stay there afloat, not too far from Cuba, for weeks or even months. Guys, back to you.
All right, Courtney, thank you.
Coming up on Morning News Now, an apology to military families after a series of insurance issues.
It shouldn't take an outside entity, to say to you, look, buddy, you're screwing over a lot of veterans right now.
We come back. How will a report by NBC News help veterans and their families finally get some answers?
Plus, promising new research that suggests popular weight loss drugs could help slow down cancer. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are following some major health headlines this morning, including promising new research suggesting GLP-1 drugs may help slow the spread of some cancers.
Plus, a new warning from the Surgeon General's office about screen time in kids. It links too much time online to health concerns like anxiety, depression, and sleep issues.
An important conversation. We've got NBC News medical reporter Dr. Akshay Syal here to have that with us. Dr. Syal, good morning. Great to see you. Let's start on these GLP-1s. I mean, literally, I said yesterday to Dr. Azar, it feels like every day we have a new headline when it comes to these, and now maybe slowing some cancers.
You're absolutely right. Every day I wake up and there's a new positive benefit of GLP-1s. I haven't seen too many negative studies come out. And, this is preliminary research. This is going to be presented at an upcoming conference, a cancer conference. And, really, guys, what they found here is they looked at 7 different types of cancers. I'll just read them out to you. Breast, colon, kidney, liver, lung, pancreatic, and prostate. And what they found is that people who were started on a GLP-1, whether it was for type 2 diabetes or obesity, we don't know. We also don't know what dose they were on. People who were started on that versus people who weren't, you can see some numbers on your screen there. Virtually every cancer except kidney cancer was less likely to spread. Only a few met what we call statistical significance, meaning it's a sort of stronger signal. You can see 2 on your screen there. Lung cancer and breast cancer were the most likely to progress. Lung cancer about 50% less likely to go to stage 4. Breast cancer 43% less likely to spread.
As you mentioned, this is early. So what is it patients should keep in mind if they're considering a GLP-1 for any sort of cancer?
So I wouldn't put a patient on a GLP-1 yet just for cancer progression prevention. We're not there yet. So in this case, they were started on if they met an indication, which is, diabetes or obesity we talk about all the time. But I think, going forward, why is this even a thing? Why is this happening? A couple of things they pointed out. GLP-1s, we know this reduce inflammation, even sometimes independent of weight loss. If you don't lose weight, sometimes the inflammation in the body even goes down.
Right.
Another reason, guys, tumor cells actually have GLP-1 receptors on them. So by targeting that, there may be something going on that they're less likely to spread. Maybe changes how they use energy. We just don't know, and it's why I wouldn't put a patient on it yet.
Wow. All right. Lots of research clearly to be done there because that's exciting. Okay, let's talk about the Surgeon General's report on screen time. In some ways, telling us what we already knew, but hearing it directly from the Surgeon General's office and with this big report.
Yes, and guys, I have a copy of the report here. You can see there's a sort of big, scary-looking device on it. You can see on your screen there. It's about 43 pages. I actually suggest everyone look at it. It's quite comprehensive and thorough. And really, they start off the report sort of saying the evidence is mixed behind screen time. It's not quite clear. It's not, a screaming sort of thing that screen time all the time is bad, because you could be using it for social media. You could be using it for GLP-1 cancer study. Those involve screens as well.
Right.
I mean, really what they found, guys, was that, depending on which age group you're in, whether it's school-aged kids, young-aged kids, teenager, the harms are different. So teenagers tend to see more, mental health problems versus young children. We tend to see more developmental delays and those sorts of things. So really all sorts of harms. I'd highly recommend everyone check out that report.
The cover there looks like the furnace in the Home Alone movies there in the basement there. Very, very haunting there.
Don't touch.
Just what parents want to know is just what are some of the things they can do to at least help their kids build healthier screen time habits?
So, a lot of the tech companies, to their credit, have put out features on the phones that say, there's the screen time. iPhone and Apple have this where you can actually set limits. Parents can set limits. They can actually block certain apps from being used. That is one thing I would recommend. Two, set screen-free times as a family. Every family is going to have individual needs, and not everyone is going to have the same screen time limits. So work as a family, develop a plan. It's something the report actually mentions. And then no phones during meals or at school. We've seen a lot of schools that you guys have been following have come out with cell phone bans. So it's going to be interesting to see how this follows going forward. But again, highly recommend people check out that report.
All right, Dr. Sayal, always great to have you. Thank you so much.
Anytime.
Staying on health news, we have an update in our ongoing series, The Cost of Denial, where we investigate the challenges some Americans face with their insurance coverage. Earlier this month, we brought you a story about more than a dozen military families that were facing serious problems with their health care provider. Well, now the CEO of that company is apologizing. NBC News correspondent Aaron McLaughlin has the details.
You faxed.
Yes.
You faxed again.
Yes.
You called.
Yes.
You contacted your lawmaker.
Yes.
You posted on social media.
Yes.
And the one thing that made a difference.
You.
NBC.
NBC.
When we first met retired Sergeant First Class Guy Shoemaker, he was struggling.
The safest thing would be for you to get a feeding tube. I know.
Not a fan.
Cough.
After surviving stage 2 throat cancer, Guy, along with his wife Kathy, were battling to get coverage for critical care.
It's a click. Somebody's just got to check the box and say this person doesn't have an OHI.
OHI stands for Other Health Insurance. His healthcare administrator, TriWest Healthcare Alliance, mistakenly believing Guy had other health insurance because of his separate vision plan, repeatedly denied his claims.
It's still happening.
Yes.
TriWest serves 4.2 million military personnel and family members across 26 states. And we found Guy was far from alone. NBC News spoke with more than a dozen beneficiaries struggling with various coverage issues.
And now, a mea culpa. 2 weeks after our initial report, the company's CEO released this letter to beneficiaries saying, I want to personally take the opportunity to apologize to those of you who've experienced challenges with other health insurance on our watch. The letter acknowledges the issue led to denials, delay, and frustration.
Do you think that was because you spoke out?
Yes. It shouldn't take an outside entity, to say to you, look, buddy, you're screwing over a lot of veterans right now.
In the letter, the TriWest CEO says the OHI denial rate is now down to 1.3%, nearly half what it was a year ago, and that the company has set up a special email address for those facing OHI problems. He adds we are in the process of making systems changes and customer service changes to improve the beneficiary experience.
These are just all the latest bills.
Guy says he recently was contacted by a new TriWest representative who at last resolved his final OHI. But he also knows there are other TriWest members still struggling with their claims. His message to them?
You have to step up and demand.
You're going to have to battle.
Yes, don't sit back and take it. Stand up and fight for what you earned.
Well, we have been following up with the 13 other TriWest beneficiaries that we have been in contact with. Many of them say their issues go way beyond the problem with other health insurance. All of them say that a TriWest representative has reached out to help them resolve their coverage issues, although still some say they are facing denials that they believe are wrong. Back to you.
All right, Erin McLaughlin, thank you.
Wow, powerful report there. Coming up, calling for reform. When we return in our Money Minute, the renewed push by several states to separate Live Nation and Ticketmaster after that landmark antitrust verdict.
And Memorial Day weekend is for sun, fun, and shopping. A look at some of the biggest sales that could save you a lot of money. Morning News Now. We'll be right back. Welcome back. With schools getting ready to close for summer break, many students might be looking to make some extra cash, but experts say this year it might be tough to find a summer job. Reporter Charlie Wojciechowski from our NBC Chicago station breaks down what's affecting the summer hiring market and how young job seekers can improve their chances.
Hi, what can I get for you today?
Behind the counter or behind the grill? Traditional summer jobs for young people may be harder to come by this year. Just ask Alex Zinoviev, a student at East West University.
Especially if you have no experience in any industry, it will be really tough, I guess, this year. Especially this year.
Chicago-based outplacement and executive coaching company Challenger Gray and Christmas predicts that employers will add only about 790,000 jobs during the months of May, June, and July. That's down slightly from last summer, and the lowest number since the Bureau of Labor Statistics started tracking that data in 1948.
We've seen rising inflation, extra cost of goods, really starting to affect the industries where teens usually get hired.
Not only will there be fewer jobs available, but there'll be fewer young people looking for them. Only about 1 in 3 teens expects to work this summer.
It's not because they're lazier than teenagers of the past. A lot of them are doing resume building activities.
The city of Chicago expects to hire around 29,000 teens and young people as part of its Chicago Youth Works employment program, many of those at the Park District. And if you're looking for a job this summer, the advice from the experts is perhaps cast off some of the high-tech approaches and go old school.
One of the things that still really sets you apart, if you're willing to go around town and walk in with a paper resume and let people know you're looking for work.
Recent Columbia grad Robert Bavra is networking with his professors to find a job he hopes will launch his career.
Hopefully start off as an internship and then go from there, maybe stay at the company or wherever I end up.
All right, thanks to Charlie Wojciechowski for that report. Experts say teens who are interested in summer work should start looking before school lets out. They should also tap into their networks, do a little networking, including your teachers and your coaches.
We've got more money news for you now, starting with a new setback for Waymo's expansion down south.
NBC News business and economy reporter Emily Lorsch is here with your Money Minute. Emily, good morning.
Good morning, guys. According to multiple reports, Waymo is halting its robo-taxi service in several cities. Last week, the Alphabet-owned company issued a recall due to a software issue that could increase the risk of a crash on a flooded street. Then earlier this week, during a storm in Atlanta, an empty Waymo car stopped on a road that was flooded, causing concern. Waymo says the car was removed and that safety is the company's, quote, top priority. We've reached out for further comment. And Live Nation is facing renewed pressure to split off Ticketmaster after a new court filing puts that request from a coalition of states front and center. One of several proposed remedies, along with requiring the entertainment giant to sell off some of its amphitheaters and pay back customers. This comes about a month after Live Nation was found to have illegally monopolized the ticket-selling industry during a high-stakes antitrust trial in New York, despite the company's settlement with the Justice Department. A hearing is expected to take place in July, and we've reached out to Live Nation and haven't yet heard back. And more from the live event space, Spotify seems to be listening to fans' complaints about how hard it is to score tickets to see their favorite artists. The streaming platform is rolling out a new feature to help people get those seats. The program is called Reserved, and it's expected to set aside a pair of tickets for an artist's top listeners so they have an opportunity to purchase seats before they go on sale for everyone else. The company says it will use listening habits and account activity to determine who qualifies. So excuse me, Joe and Savannah, I'm going to go over there, just kind of plug in my phone, put on some playlists on repeat, and then hope that I get my numbers up so I can score those tickets.
Yeah. That is a smart strategy there. So just leave it playing all night long.
They're going to get in that game.
All right. Thanks, Emily. Appreciate it. Memorial Day weekend isn't just about barbecues and beach trips. Millions of Americans are also getting ready to hit the sales.
Right.
A recent survey by Retail Me Not found 54% of shoppers plan to buy something during the holiday weekend. I feel like 100% of shoppers will buy something. But anyway, they're planning to spend way less, though, than they usually do.
Yeah, experts say many Americans have a much tighter budget with those rising gas prices and grocery prices, so their purchases will be selective and planned in advance.
NBC Select reporter Zoe Mallon is here with everything you need to know to get the best bang for your buck. Good morning. So first of all, just walk us through what are the items we're focused on right now. I know we did mattresses for President's Day.
Yes.
Is that over now? Do we move on to something else?
Mattresses
we still
are
go
there.
To, all right.
Oh, yes. So that is really the bread and butter of these 3-day holiday weekend sales is mattresses and those big home and kitchen appliances.
Ooh, wow.
But because this is the start of summer, we all are looking at those grill deals, patio furniture, even some of those beach essentials. So if you need any of that, this is your time to stock up. And then also make sure you're looking at those travel deals, suitcases and toiletry bags, especially if you have a road trip coming up or maybe you're going to a really exciting destination this summer. And then because people are looking to save anywhere they can right now, if you're someone who just is looking to save on essentials like sunscreen or maybe toiletry bags, toiletries like, body wash or things like that, those are on sale right now. This is the first grilling and gathering holiday, as I like to think about it. So even some groceries might be on sale too at your local market.
Interesting. All right, flip side, what's not a good time to buy?
Okay, 2 things you absolutely should not buy right now. First is tech. We tend to not see worthwhile tech deals until Amazon Prime Day, which actually is a month earlier this year in June, so you don't have to wait as long, as well as during those back-to-school tech sales in July and August. And then finally, I know it's very hard to resist those summer fashion deals right now. If you need sandals and shorts, there will be sales, but we'll see even better prices come clearance sales a little later on this summer.
When you don't want them anymore.
I know, it's so true.
Gotta think ahead. What are some of the retailers that are having the biggest sales?
Yeah, so retailers like Amazon and Target, they are kind of your everything stores. We're also seeing really great deals on those mattresses at places like Mattress Firm. Sometimes they'll even throw in like free delivery or free haul away of your old mattress. Make sure you're looking at those patio furniture and appliance deals at places like Wayfair, Lowe's, Home Depot. And then REI is actually having its anniversary sale right now. So if you're a hiker, a biker, you're planning a camping trip, all of those goodies are on sale.
Before you go, just give us general advice for making it count this weekend.
Yeah, so the number one thing you should do is stack your savings. In addition to taking advantage of that discount price, use a credit card that helps you earn cash back. Shop through a cashback platform, or even try to find some promo codes that will help you. We also recommend comparison shopping to see who has the lowest prices and the lowest shipping fees. And make sure you're paying attention to shipping prices. Gas is higher right now, which means that shipping prices will likely be higher too.
What are you going to buy?
I am buying a new toiletry bag because I went on a trip recently.
When you said that, I was like, that's interesting.
My toiletry bag was overflowing. So, no, we are fixing that this holiday
And then
weekend.
they get like makeup on them and everything. It's like, you need a new one.
Exactly.
All right, Zoe, thank you so much. And I think we might have a QR code we can pull up right here. Scan that QR code for the latest Memorial Day deals, and you can get other shopping tips from Zoe and her team. Or if you go to nbcnews.com/select, and NBC News does earn a commission from purchases made through those links.
All right, coming up, Mascots Unmasked, a spirited send-off for one of the most iconic parts of the college experience.
When we come back, a look at the fun new tradition unfolding at graduation ceremonies across the country. You're watching Morning News Now. It is graduation season, so we are ending this hour by spotlighting an iconic part of almost every college campus, the mascot.
The students who secretly give these characters life are now finding fun ways to show their schools who they really are. NBC Nightly News anchor Tom Yamas has those big reveals.
It's a viral trend taking over the internet about a secret they've held for years.
You never know who's truly in the suit.
At colleges and universities across the country,
yes! Yes!
The students who secretly embody the school mascot,
what in the world?
Revealing their true identities just before graduation. Highly produced hype videos introducing the people behind the fuzzy faces.
We are the Hokie Bird. Guess who?
From the Ohio State mascot, Brutus Buckeye, and Kansas's Baby J, to Otto the Orange at Syracuse University, and Sebastian the Ibis at the University of Miami. The students behind the iconic characters bringing school spirit to new heights.
It's always going to be in the top 5 coolest things I've ever done.
And at the University of South Carolina,
best mascot! Best mascot!
Just listen to the class of 2026's reaction. Students like Braden Hensley donned the yellow feet for the final time at commencement. stopping by for a quick moment with mom and dad before leading thousands of grads in one final spirit-filled celebration. Tom Yamas, NBC News.
I love that they can still wear the feet, though. Yeah. Like they're unmasked, but they get to keep the giant feet.
I'm so into this concept. I'm surprised it hasn't happened sooner.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, give them their due.
It'll happen till you're sick of it. All right, yeah. That's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now.
Stay with us, though. The news continues right now. Good morning and happy Friday. I'm Savannah Sellers.
I'm Joe Fryer. Right now on Morning News Now, holiday havoc. Mother Nature not making the unofficial start of summer easy. Tens of millions of Americans slated to take to America's highways and skyways for the Memorial Day long weekend. But severe storms are battering much of the country, causing thousands of flight disruptions in the past 2 days alone. So what's the weather looking like this weekend? Our Angie Lastman is tracking it all coming up. Don't worry, we're also watching your wallet over the next few days. Why it's not only the bumped up prices of burgers and brats that might actually pour cold water on your cookout this holiday weekend. Plus, a sobering shock to the world of racing. Kyle Busch, perhaps one of the best known NASCAR drivers in history, has died at the age of 41. Or on the severe illness that his family says took his life far too soon. And later in the hour, good night and good luck. After more than 1,800 monologues, Stephen Colbert took his final late show bow. Overnight, he was flanked by A-list stars as the curtain opens on an uncertain era for those treasured late-night laughs. It was part of the fun going into the evening. We didn't know who was on the guest list for the final night, so you could kind of see what happened. It was even a longer program than normal.
1,800 monologues.
That's a lot of fun.
That is an accomplishment.
All right, let's begin this hour with the busy Memorial Day weekend now underway. A record-breaking 45 million people are expected to shrug off those rising fuel costs and travel over the holiday period, with most hitting the road.
But severe weather is expected to put a damper on some travel plans. Storms and flooding are impacting drivers, while thousands of flights have been delayed or canceled in the last couple days. NBC News correspondent Emily Aketa has the latest. Emily, good morning.
Hey there. Well, the Great Getaway is already underway. Despite those sky-high gas prices, the $45 it took to fill up a midsize SUV this time last year is now closer to $65. And while we're talking about more expensive travel, more congestion, wet weather, still a record number of Americans are determined to celebrate this holiday weekend.
The deluge of rain and wind across much of the country, marking a soggy and turbulent unofficial start to summer. This truck sliding and flipping over on a slick Tennessee highway Thursday, while new video shows floodwaters sweeping this woman in New York off her feet. And it made a mess for those flying to their Memorial Day destinations. High winds brought on by severe weather in Colorado, prompting a ground stop at Denver International. More than 17,000 flights were canceled or delayed in the past 2 days. Alan Turkheimer described it as chaos at Newark Airport in New Jersey.
We ended up just sitting on the tarmac for 7 hours.
In New York City, LaGuardia Airport's runway, where a sinkhole opened up, was closed again on Thursday, the busiest day for airports this holiday weekend.
A little concerning with the weather.
And it will be another busy day on the road, with nearly 40 million Americans anticipated to drive to their holiday celebrations, according to AAA, despite the highest gas prices in 4 years.
It's definitely a problem because we are headed to South Carolina. We was already at a half a tank, and the other half just cost us about $51.
Storms are expected to bring heavy rain to more than 20 states this weekend, from Texas to New England. But some are determined to not let weather dampen their holiday plans.
I mean, it's just rain. We're not going to melt. Let's continue with our plans. Let's continue with our events. Try to make the best of it.
And some of the worst traffic will pick up later today, especially around major thoroughfares near Boston, LA, San Francisco. Trip times, by the way, from New York City to the Jersey Shore are expected to more than double later today. Experts recommend using apps from Gas Buddy, AAA, even Google Maps to help find the cheapest gas stations and save a few bucks. Back to you.
All right, Em, thank you.
Let's check in now with meteorologist Angie Lassman.
She has got the latest conditions for this holiday forecast. Angie, good morning.
Good morning, guys. It's not all bad news. Across the country, we've got some sunshine in the forecast, but yes, we do have some rain, and it's already started across parts of the plains. You can see some thunderstorms there stretching across the southeast, notice through the Tennessee Valley, across through the mid-Atlantic. We've got a couple of spots that are going to need some plan Bs, some indoor plans here as we get through the weekend. Here's the setup. We've got this kind of pesky, slow-moving front stretched from Texas all the way to the northeast. This is ushering in some tropical moisture across the Gulf. That's where we have the biggest concern for flooding. And then across the northeast, temperatures are way below normal because we've got that cool ocean air kind of streaming in. And this, unfortunately, is the setup through the beginning of our next work week, or really through the holiday, I should say. We've got temperatures into the 50s for New York on Saturday. Notice the rain across the board for Washington, D.C., New York City, and Boston. That means folks closer to the coast at the beaches also going to be dealing with the rain across this region. We've got the cold, the cloudy conditions, and of course that rain that will stick with us. The minor improvements will be seen by the time Monday rolls around, but again, still some showers that you're going to have to dodge across the northeast. As we look to the Midwest, a much different story. Nice conditions, actually. A little cloudy and kind of rainy in Detroit for the first half of the weekend, but notice 80 degrees on Monday on Memorial Day. We've got temperatures into the mid-80s by Monday in Chicago, low 80s for St. Louis, plenty of sunshine, warmer conditions for the Midwest. Nice conditions as well for Dallas, sunshine across the board, a little bit of rain to dodge in Houston and Atlanta. Notice that sticks with you through the weekend, but you'll have some peaks of sunshine and some drier conditions throughout. And then way better conditions if you look to the West Coast, where, yes, we've got some rain on Monday in Seattle, but you get to enjoy Saturday and Sunday. The temperatures into the 70s before that. Mild conditions in San Francisco, but still some sunshine. And then if you're looking for the heat, Phoenix looks pretty good. 97 on Saturday, 99 on Sunday, and full sunshine on tap for our friends there. Otherwise, travel as we get into Monday, I think the difficult spots are going to be across the east. No surprise there with that system kind of just hanging around. This is a look at your airports. Note that places like Houston and New Orleans will likely see some of those delays because of the thunderstorm activity and the potential for, of course, the flooding across that region. But Nashville, Atlanta, Charlotte, up and down the northeast from Boston to D.C., you could potentially be looking at some difficult travel when it comes to the airports. Low ceilings, difficult visibility, all going to be on the table. And I would, of course, if you're driving, be mindful of those roadways, especially with the flood concern across parts of the southeast. We'll pick up a couple of inches of rain in some of these spots by the time all is said and done. And if that wasn't enough, we've got to talk about just the leftover couple of freeze alerts in parts of the northeast this morning, but temperatures quite chilly for late May. We've got the 40s and 50s across the board in this region. And unfortunately, that chilly kind of start is going to last through the afternoon and into the next couple of days across this region. So just a high of 61 degrees in Washington, D.C. today, low 70s for St. Louis, running below normal for Milwaukee as well. Even Charlotte, just a tad below normal. And that chill sticks around for tomorrow. 58 degrees. That's your high in New York City. The cool air will be kind of stuck in place, and we'll have that rain to contend with across that region. So doesn't look great. But by the time we get to Tuesday, guys, just in time for the weekend, the holiday weekend to end.
So annoying.
It will be back into the 80s in New York City. If you don't like it, you got to book a flight to Detroit or Chicago or Miami, maybe Phoenix.
And then it's canceled and you're at the year for the entire weekend.
Well, that's a good
I have a
point.
request. I like the cooler temperatures. I would like to remove the rain. Could you speak with your sources
Put that in the suggestion
about that?
Yes. Yeah. The complaint box is right here.
Cold is okay, no rain.
Yeah.
Then at least we can be outside.
I have a feeling our friends in Phoenix are saying, what? I would love for the 60s right now because they've got almost 100 degrees.
We can do a house swap if you want. Totally fine with that.
Joe's home is available.
Last hour, it was funny when you were like, oh, we could go to Phoenix. I'm like, do we want to? That also doesn't sound great.
We're looking for the Goldilocks forecast, right?
I know. We're asking for a lot.
San Diego,
Tuesday.
perhaps.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
I know. Why'd I leave? All right, thanks, Angie.
You got it.
All right, ahead of that holiday weekend, this is a scary one. Authorities are cracking down on a growing nationwide trend called teen takeovers. So it usually starts with a post on social media urging teenagers to meet at a public location. Then, though, the gatherings often turn violent. Law enforcement is now warning parents they could be prosecuted for their kids' actions. NBC News correspondent Shaquille Brewster has more.
This morning, a race to prevent a holiday weekend full of scenes like this. In Chicago, a line of teens trampling over neighborhood vehicles, police outnumbered.
Last night, we heard a loud, thunderous noise. It was the children running in large groups.
And in Washington, D.C., this group brawling inside a Chipotle. It's a dangerous trend of so-called teen takeovers that's been expanding nationwide. They're organized on social media. Large groups of teenagers meeting at public locations. The gatherings often turning violent.
Where are the parents? What is causing this to happen?
Like in Detroit last weekend when a 14-year-old was shot in the chest.
We will not tolerate violence. We will not tolerate what we saw this weekend, and we will continue to push for parental responsibility enforcement in our curfew.
Ahead of Memorial Day weekend, law enforcement cracking down. The U.S. Attorney for D.C., Jeanine Pirro, warning that federal prosecutors will begin charging parents.
Parents, you are not a bystander in this crisis.
While many cities like Chicago, where a 14-year-old boy was shot and killed during a teen takeover last year, face calls for expanded curfews.
I think he should keep the curfew. I wholeheartedly agree.
This weekend, Chicago police canceling days off for officers. Mayor Brandon Johnson pleading with parents to step up.
If anyone believes that this effort is solely the responsibility of government, they're mistaken.
Activist Early Walker runs a teen trend text alert system for Chicago's parents, reactivating it ahead of this weekend.
My whole thought process was at least it gives parents a know-how or at least a whereabout of what's going on.
A push to stop the trend before more damage is done.
All right, our thanks to Shaq Brewster for that report.
A rift is growing between Republicans and the Trump administration over its $1.8 billion so-called anti-weaponization fund. Senate Republicans are now demanding answers from the Justice Department over how that taxpayer money would be used. Our Chief Justice and National Affairs correspondent Kelly O'Donnell joins us now from the White House with the very latest on this. Kelly, good morning.
Good morning, Joe. So this is a big surprise unfolding in the relationship between the president and Republican senators, and it is not a happy one. The Trump administration has expected Republicans to go along with the president's big ideas, and they usually do, but maybe not this time. The top Senate Republican leader saying his party has deep, legitimate questions and wishes the administration had consulted them before coming up with this plan to pay compensation.
This morning, new cracks in the Republican Party, mounting frustration among some Republicans over the president's proposed spending.
What I do not support is one single dime of taxpayer money going to a ballroom or a dime of taxpayer money going to this so-called anti-weaponization fund.
Both issues hitting an unexpected GOP wall. $1 billion for ballroom-related security and a nearly $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund.
I mean, this is just stupid on stilts.
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche on the Hill Thursday to explain the new fund that would use taxpayer money to pay out claims from applicants who say they were harmed by Biden-era prosecutors, potentially including January 6th rioters.
My God, do you see where this would head? These people don't deserve restitution. Many of them deserve to be in prison.
And a direct rebuke from Mitch McConnell, who called it utterly stupid, morally wrong. But that meeting with Blanche raised more questions than answers.
We need to get some clarity, about how this is going to work.
Objections over the fund prompted Republican senators to postpone a vote on an immigration bill and leave town for the next week, according to two GOP sources familiar with the discussions. The president appearing unfazed by the growing discontent in the Senate.
Are you losing control of the Senate Republicans?
I don't know. I really don't know.
And while the president is facing some setbacks on his ballroom project, he cleared a win for his planned arch after the Fine Arts Commission he appointed approved the plan. The president telling reporters he thinks Congress will have no role.
No, we're doing it. It's the land is owned by the Interior Department. We don't need anything from Congress.
Now, this new fund is facing sharp criticism, to be sure, and it's not even up and running yet. But some are already lining up to seek those taxpayer dollars, including the president's former personal lawyer. You may remember Michael Cohen, who went to prison for campaign finance violations, and Trump ally, MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell, who was sued for defamation for conspiracy theories. So interest is there even before this thing is really going. Joe?
All right. Kelly, thank you so much.
Well, yesterday, in a surprise move in a high-profile school shooting case out of Virginia, a Newport News Circuit Court judge dismissed all criminal charges against a former assistant principal, Ebony Parker.
She was accused of failing to take action to stop a 6-year-old who brought a gun to school and shot his teacher. NBC News senior national correspondent Stephanie Gosk has the details.
A Virginia court shocker. The judge throwing out the criminal case against former assistant principal Ebony Parker.
The court is of the legal opinion that this is not a crime.
Parker sobbing as she realized she would no longer face 8 felony counts of child endangerment in the January 2023 shooting. Prosecutors alleged she ignored Rich Neck Elementary School staff when they warned her 4 times that a 6-year-old had come to school with a handgun. The first grader then shot his teacher, Abigail Zwerner, through her hand, the bullet lodging in her chest.
He was holding a gun, the student. It was pointed right at me, and then I was shot.
Zwerner shared her outlook with Savannah in an exclusive interview just months after her terrifying ordeal.
Let's talk first about just how are you doing? How is your recovery going?
I've been doing okay. You know, from going through what I've gone through, I try to stay positive, you know, try to have a positive outlook on what's happened and where my future's heading.
But the judge ruled that Ebony Parker's alleged acts did not fit the charges, the law requiring a person to act in a manner that shows a reckless disregard for human life.
The judge says legally the law requires more than just being aware and doing nothing.
Is it intent? Is that what it requires?
According to the law, there has to be an omission, a failure to act. But that omission has to be wanton and willful.
It was set to be a landmark trial, the first time a school official was criminally charged after a school shooting. The prosecution had laid out its entire case, including showing the jury this interview with Parker just days after the shooting.
I was told that students reported that the student had a weapon in his backpack.
The backpack was searched, according to testimony, but no one searched the student.
The judge acknowledged that the shooting was terrible, but said if the state wants to charge someone like Ebony Parker for her alleged acts and make it a crime, then the legislature is going to have to pass a new law. Back to you.
All right, Steph, thank you. You just saw Danny Savalos in that piece. Let's bring him back here for more. We keep saying this was surprising. Were you surprised?
I wasn't surprised, Joe. I was astonished. And I'll tell you, you can see my face in that package as you see it here now, struggling to understand the judge's reasoning. I went over every word of what she said from the bench. And as best as I can tell, the reason for dismissal is that she looked at the statute, looked at the facts that the prosecution had put into evidence, and just concluded she can't see the legal theory that they were fitting their facts into. Now, my view, or at least the prosecutor's view, is probably, well, we're the prosecution. We get to sort of develop that theory in our closing. But essentially, the judge's position was that what was the omission, what was the intent, the prosecution didn't prove it, at least for the judge. So I think everyone was surprised, including the attorneys in that room.
I want to ask you to expand on what we just heard you saying there in our piece from our friend Steph, really explaining what the law actually says, because the judge says that what had gone on here, what the evidence was showing, and what the law said did not constitute a crime. So walk us through the law.
The judge said essentially, we have all these facts in now, and I still don't know what the crime is that you're alleging. Was it the moment the defendant said, well, search his bag, but don't search his body? Or was it the moment she said, well, just wait for the parents? What exactly was the omission? Because in all likelihood, the theory was not an act. It was an omission. And then secondarily, you have the intent issue. It's not enough to simply fail to do something if you know there might be something bad going in the ether. Really, the law, at least according to the judge, appears to require something more. In other words, that she failed to do something and essentially wanted the outcome. Not was aware that it could happen, not aware of a possibility, but essentially the wanton and willfulness requires that she desired the outcome. And realistically, nobody desired a school shooting. Nobody intended that to be the outcome.
Right.
But believe me, I think it was a close call. And frankly, had she not dismissed it and it had gone to the jury, I think there would have been a very good chance of conviction.
A lot of people might be asking whether their prosecutors can do anything about this. A key part of this is that the charges were dismissed with prejudice. Walk us through what that means.
Yeah, the answer to that is actually 99% no, this case is over. Yeah. And I leave that 1% because sometimes when cases are dismissed purely on legal issues and before a jury is impaneled, yes, the prosecution can appeal that. But in this case, jury was impaneled. It was based on the facts. When it's based on the facts, that is a stronger case for double jeopardy attaching. And with prejudice means you can never bring the case again.
Danny, we've seen some really sort of landmark legal action when it comes to this sort of search for expanding accountability when we see some of these school shootings. Parents have been charged and, in fact, convicted in a few cases. This was the first time, though, that we've seen a school administrator be on the stand. What does that mean, do you think, that this case was dismissed when it comes to that sort of expanding legal accountability?
I would not take too much from this case. I would not consider it precedent or a statement that school administrators will not be charged. And that's for two reasons. I believe had the prosecution adduced another set of facts, had they put in a case that satisfied this particular judge more, this case would have moved to a verdict. And secondly, this isn't binding on any court or any prosecution anywhere. If they feel they have a stronger case in another state with a differently worded statute, I think you'll see prosecutors try to bring that case.
All right. Danny Ceballos, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Well, this morning, NASCAR and the entire racing community are remembering the life of legendary driver Kyle Busch. He died yesterday at the age of 41.
Busch is one of the most accomplished and outspoken drivers in racing history. In a joint statement, his family said that he passed away after he was hospitalized with a severe illness. NBC News correspondent Kaylee Hartung joins us now with a look back on his career on and off the track. Kaylee, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. The motorsports world is in absolute shock. The news of Kyle Busch's sudden death coming just hours after he withdrew from this weekend's Coca-Cola 600 race because of the severe illness that he was hospitalized for. And at just 41 years old, NASCAR saying it has lost a giant of the sport far too soon.
This morning, a shocking tragedy in the racing world after the sudden death of NASCAR legend Kyle Busch at the age of 41.
Kyle Busch will win!
Busch was hospitalized yesterday with a severe illness, according to his family, who did not elaborate on what it was. A joint statement from his family and NASCAR remembering him as a rare talent with a sharp wit and competitive spirit, who sparked a deep emotional connection with race fans of every age. Tributes pouring in overnight on speedways across the country, from Indianapolis to Charlotte, and fellow racing star Dale Earnhardt Jr. writing in part, "I will never be able to make sense of this loss." The hockey world also paying tribute to Busch in this touching moment at the Carolina Hurricanes game.
Kyle Busch, two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, passed away this afternoon at the age of 41. Our thoughts are with his family, friends, and fans around the world.
It comes 12 days after Busch had a mid-race scare, after he radioed his crew asking a doctor to give him a shot.
"I'm gonna need a shot, copy."
He was reportedly struggling with a sinus cold that got worse with the intensity of driving the course.
Racing can't be any fun when your head is completely stuffed up like that.
Nearly a week later, Busch saying he was suffering from a cough.
You can kind of still hear it. I'm still not great, but the cough was pretty substantial last week.
The Associated Press reports that Busch was testing in a racing simulator on Wednesday when he became unresponsive and transported to a hospital in Charlotte, according to several people familiar with the situation. For the driver known as Rowdy, life was full on and off the track. His wife Samantha, son Braxton, and daughter Lennox were fixtures at races. The couple who struggled with infertility, opening up last year on Today about helping other families.
We recognize not only the financial burdens of everyone that they have to go through, but of course the emotional struggles that couples face as well going through that.
Just 1 week ago, Busch reflective after what would be his final win.
Why do these moments never get old, Kyle?
Because you never know when the last one is.
Racing is in the Busch family DNA. Kyle and his brother Kurt learned from their dad Tom, and now Kyle's son is racing too, winning championships in his own right. The family just celebrated Braxton's 11th birthday a few days ago, guys, and Kyle's last post on social media to mark that occasion is equally heartwarming and heartbreaking. A beautiful message to his son expressing how proud he was of him. Undoubtedly a message that Braxton will treasure forever.
Oh, for sure.
Thanks for thinking of his family, Kaylee. Appreciate that look back. Thank you. Much more to come here on this Friday edition of Morning News Now, including why the classic Memorial Day cookout, like a lot of other things lately, might cost you a little more this year.
First, though, after the break, compelling new details overseas this morning pointing to an expanding investigation into the former Prince Andrew. We will bring you what we know up next. Welcome back. We are following some new developments out of the UK this morning. British police are renewing their call for witnesses as they investigate alleged misconduct involving the former Prince Andrew.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was arrested earlier this year on suspicion of misconduct in public office following scrutiny over his ties to Epstein. The 66-year-old brother of King Charles has not been charged and denies any wrongdoing. NBC News international correspondent Molly Hunter joins us now from London with the very latest. Molly, good morning.
Joe, Savannah, good morning from a very windy Buckingham Palace. So overnight, British police released a new statement. They are hoping to speak with a woman whose lawyer has reportedly said that she was brought out to the former house out at Windsor of the former Prince Andrew for, quote, sexual purposes back in 2010. Now, police are also encouraging anyone with any information about the allegations about the former prince to please come forward.
This morning, British police appear to be widening their investigation into former Prince Andrew, now urging anyone to come forward with information as they look into potential sexual misconduct involving Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, as he is now known. In a statement without naming him, which is standard practice in the UK, Thames Valley Police say they are looking into reports that a woman was taken to an address in Windsor in 2010 for sexual purposes. Police have not yet spoken with her, but are now reassuring the public that any reports will be rigorously investigated.
The police here are in effect actively asking people to come forward, saying, if you have a story about Andrew, we want to hear it.
In a pre-dawn raid on his 66th birthday, the king's younger brother was arrested back in February on suspicion of misconduct in public office. This picture snapped after his release 12 hours later. It's a complex allegation that centers on his role as UK government trade envoy. The investigation was sparked after the U.S. Justice Department released emails the former prince allegedly sent to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein in 2010, which included discussions of foreign countries and trade opportunities. Also released this photo showing Andrew kneeling over an unidentified woman. And in March, after his arrest, the DOJ released this photo showing Epstein with Andrew and former UK ambassador to the U.S., Peter Mandelson, both wearing bathrobes.
The royal family knows that honesty and transparency are absolutely crucial to maintaining a level of trust and respect from the public.
Following his brother's arrest, King Charles said in a statement at the time, "The police have our full and wholehearted support and cooperation. Let me state clearly, the law must take its course." The former prince has not been charged with a crime, and he denies all wrongdoing. Police say he remains under investigation.
Now, Joe, Savannah, it's unclear why exactly police have released this statement right now. There is a sense that maybe the police were concerned. The public thought this was a much more narrow investigation dealing with just the allegations around passing confidential information. What this statement makes very clear to the public is that this is a wide-ranging and very rigorous investigation. Joe?
Molly, do we know where the former prince is now?
We believe, to the best of our knowledge, that he is at home at Marsh Farm. That is his home on King Charles's Sandringham estate. Actually, our partner Sky News, they are camped out there outside the farm, hoping to get a glimpse possibly. But, Joe, we have not seen the former prince since his arrest back in February on his 66th birthday. He is laying low. We are certainly not seeing him at any kind of public royal functions, and certainly not being photographed with any members of the royal family. Joe?
All right, Molly, thank you.
Coming up, one of DC's hidden gems shining brighter ahead of America's 250th birthday.
When Morning News Now returns, we have got an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at a very special Smithsonian site, finally back in the public eye after years under wraps, just in time for the 4th. That's next. Stay with us. Back now with a closer look at what's making news in the world of politics this morning, starting with President Trump suddenly hitting the pause button on an executive order around artificial intelligence.
NBC News White House correspondent Monica Alba joins us with more. Monica, good morning.
Good morning to you guys. Yeah, let's start right there with something that didn't happen but made a lot of news, which is President Trump scrapping a much anticipated executive order on artificial intelligence, arguing that he didn't like certain aspects of it that could interfere with American competitiveness. In theory, this order would have directed federal agencies to work with AI companies to shore up cybersecurity vulnerabilities and test advanced models before they're released to the public. But it's unclear if and when that event will be rescheduled at all. Now, next, let's talk about the DNC autopsy report, which had been kept secret until now, with DNC Chair Ken Martin releasing this unfinished report in an attempt at transparency. And the postmortem itself doesn't focus directly on the 2024 election, but it does include insight into what went wrong for Democrats, including that the White House did not, quote, effectively support Vice President Harris over 3.5 years to improve her standing before the candidate switch when former President Biden dropped out of the race. And finally, guys, this is a bit of a curious one. President Trump said yesterday he's going to try to make it to his son Don Jr.'s wedding this weekend, but that he may not be able to, partially because he's dealing with a, quote, thing called Iran, adding that it wasn't the best timing for him. And that wedding is set to take place in the Bahamas, according to Page Six, while the president is slated to be at his New Jersey club this weekend. That's a look at what is making news in the world of politics this morning. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Monica. Appreciate it. We're getting an exclusive look this morning inside a hidden gem in our nation's capital. The Smithsonian Castle has been off limits to visitors for years because of a large restoration project. Well, now parts of the castle are set to reopen ahead of our country's 250th birthday. NBC's Ryan Noble joins us now from Washington with more on the grand reopening. Ryan, good morning.
Hey, Joe, good morning. And, you think of the Smithsonian as this massive global research organization with 21 museums, 14 different research centers, of course, the Smithsonian National Zoo. But it all started right here 171 years ago with the Smithsonian Castle. This was the first Smithsonian building. It was funded by a British scientist who never stepped foot on American soil. We got an exclusive look inside a massive renovation project to return the building to its original glory and a sneak peek at some of the American treasures that are soon to be on display in honor of the country's 250th birthday. In a city famous for its whitewashed marble and granite landmarks, one red building stands apart, the Smithsonian Castle. Built in 1855 as the very first Smithsonian building in the United States, this morning, the ground floor reopening to visitors for the first time after 3 years of renovations.
Mr. Secretary. Welcome to the Smithsonian.
Smithsonian Secretary Lonnie Bunch says America owes British scientist James Smithson a debt of gratitude for making the world's largest museum, education, and research complex possible.
He'd heard about this great republic that was going to be a beacon, a city on the hill. And he gave what in essence would be $15 million today. So it really is this global institution now that began with some person's dream of what America could be. Do you think most Americans realize that James Smithson never stepped foot in the United States of America? He never stepped foot alive. We have his body. I guess that counts.
Keeping that dream alive requires a massive restoration effort. Building's iconic red sandstone getting some much-needed repairs.
There was a church in Atlantic City that was using this kind of material, and the church was closing. So we were actually able to go to the church, get much of that stone, and use that to basically refurbish and replace the original sandstone.
We moved inside and up to a space that once held the largest lecture hall in the country.
People like Abraham Lincoln would come just to hear talks. Wow. Buildings finished in 1855, and then 10 years later, it's devastated by a fire.
Evidence of that fire still visible on the walls of the lecture hall.
This tar is really remnants of the new roof, the temporary roof that was put in there by the U.S. Army.
And in the nearby Regents Room.
Pretty remarkable that this is still relatively intact despite everything it went through. I think that what is really powerful is that fire destroys, but not everything. And part of what history is to bring back what has been destroyed. And this allows us to remember that moment in powerful ways.
Yeah. Renovation teams also planning to restore the Great Hall to its original breathtaking height.
This isn't, it's not supposed to look like this, where I only see a little bit of this column, right?
Yeah. You're supposed to be down looking up.
Yeah.
Once we remove the floor, we'll return to that sense of, oh my goodness, how special this is.
Yeah.
In a few weeks, the castle will host American Aspirations,
Absolutely.
an exhibit curated by Bunch himself for America 250.
Right here will be the desk that Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence.
Okay.
For me, those words are a challenge to help America live up to its ideals.
Right.
Among the treasures that will be on display, a rare small-scale model of the Statue of Liberty, a treaty between the United States and the Iroquois Nation signed by George Washington, and a famous broadside written by abolitionist Frederick Douglass, urging black men to fight in the Civil War.
How important do you think it'll be for Americans to remember everything, not just celebrate where we are now, but what it took to get us to this point?
What I want is people to be able to think about how history is as much about today and tomorrow as it is yesterday, and that the 250th is an opportunity to remember, to reflect, and to come together as a nation.
And when the exhibit is complete, you'll also get to see a fragment of the Plymouth Rock, Martin Luther King Jr.'s original I Have a Dream speech, even Amelia Earhart's flight suit. Wow. Now, you can already get inside the castle. The ground floor is back open starting this morning. The American Aspirations exhibit opens on June 2nd. But guys, don't waste any time. You need to get down here to Washington, D.C. to see it. The Smithsonian Castle is going to close again in September. It's still going to take another couple of years before this massive renovation is complete.
Wow, Ryan, you're like the third Property Brother, but the History Channel version. That was a fascinating look behind the scenes there.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Brian, I'm so jealous. What an incredible look.
That's the nicest thing you've ever told me, Joe. Thank you. I appreciate that. I feel like a Property Brother this morning.
Very good. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Coming up, we finally made it to Memorial Day weekend. For a lot of us, that means heading outside for a good old-fashioned American barbecue.
But this year, as you know, those surging grocery store price tags aren't the only pre-summer bummers joining the cookout. Never fear, we got some tips on how you can go a little easier on your wallet these next few days, so stay with us. That's next.
We're back with the countdown to Memorial Day and some unfortunate new numbers on how much things could cost you to celebrate.
Nearly a third of Americans say they plan to have some kind of cookout this weekend, but experts warn that surging energy prices could drive up the price of your BBQ bill.
Brooke DePalma is here with more on this. She is a senior reporter and on-air correspondent at Yahoo Finance. Brooke, good morning. Always great to see you. So obviously we know things have been more expensive, whether it is gas prices, whether it is groceries. Tell us just how much things are going to cost us more this weekend.
Well, definitely when you think about the key ingredients of a good barbecue, I mean, think about the propane cost. That's slightly actually less than what we would expect in this high inflationary environment. So propane is only up about 2% year over year. So that's good news if you're going out to grill this weekend. But beef costs, that continues to be really sticky. Uncooked ground beef is actually at a record high of $6.90. That's up about 18.5% compared to last year. We also have fruits and vegetables up about a lot. And that's because of lower cattle supply that continues to impact the cost of beef. We also had fruits and vegetables up about 6%. This is according to April's CPI print. A lot of that has to do with tomatoes, guys. During the month of April, we saw tomatoes surge about 40%. And that's because of that cold weather that we got in Florida. So all those prices going into this weekend's barbecue.
So beyond those things, what are just some of the barbecue staples? How do those prices compare with how we've seen in the past?
Well, when you think about something that is a little cheaper, poultry is actually not moving as high as ground beef. So it's definitely a little bit less. When you take a look right here, we also do see that fruits and vegetables overall moving higher. On top of those tomato costs up about 40%. We also know that lettuce is up about 8%. So if you're looking to put some lettuce on that sandwich as well, that's also going to cost you more. But once again, beef, steak, things like that really make a barbecue, those are costing you more these days.
We've been talking so much about how the war in Iran is impacting fuel prices and therefore gas prices, and therefore you start to see that inflation with food. But you're giving us other reasons, like this cattle shortage and stuff like this. Why is this happening?
So weather has a lot to do with this right now, and that's been going on for years. We had a drought that impacted the weather supply years ago, a drought that impacted the cattle supply rather years ago, and that caused ranchers to lower their inventory of cattle. That's still driving prices higher today. We also had weather prices impact coffee beans in both Brazil and Vietnam. The good news is that a higher supply is coming, so we could see lower coffee prices later on this year. So maybe some good news there for instant coffees, for maybe some espresso martinis this weekend.
Yeah, there you go.
But on top of that, too, cold weather in Florida, like I said, did hit those tomato prices. And because tomatoes are so inelastic, we're going to put tomatoes on our sandwiches.
Right.
Restaurants are going to want tomatoes. Tomato producers took the opportunity to raise those prices, but as high as they jump, they should fall rather quickly as well.
Oh, okay.
So what are some ways people can save money as best as they can for whatever it is they want to buy this week?
Right. Okay. So here are some helpful tips, and stick with me because the last one you'll be like, all right, maybe a little controversial there. But the first one is be sure that if you're looking over here, instead of a 12-pack of soda cans, think about aluminum prices are higher right now. So instead, maybe buy some couple 2-liter bottles instead.
Okay.
Put those in the cooler instead. I've mentioned this a few times, but instead of steak or burgers, maybe offer some chicken options instead. All right, we'll get to it. Maybe buy private label store brands. Those are about 20 to 40% less than national brands. Buy in bulk.
The same, by the way.
Right? They taste exactly the same. Target and Walmart have really been investing in them. Buy in bulk. So if you know someone with the BJ's or Costco membership, maybe say, hey, you want to go to the store this weekend? Costco. And this one, kind of controversial.
Yeah.
But hey, if you're hosting, say, I'll get all the food, I'll get the dessert. I'll maybe
By the way,
even,
you shouldn't
get
be
some
asked
mixers.
to BYOB. You should be bringing something to somebody's party.
Right, that is like kind of the kind thing to do. But ask your friends. Say, hey, can you bring some beer?
I don't know what you like. You know what you want to drink.
I got the soda.
Bring it.
Exactly.
There we go.
Casual way of saying
that. Yeah.
Thanks, Brooke.
Come on.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. We got more money news now. Meta has settled the first of many lawsuits over the social media's impact on kids' mental health.
NBC News business and economy reporter Emily Lorsch has your Money Minute. Emily, good morning.
Savannah and Joe, this case in particular was supposed to go to trial in just a few weeks. A Kentucky school district seeking $60 million, alleging that Meta and other social media companies caused harm to children's mental health by addicting them to the platforms. TikTok, Snap, and YouTube, which were also involved in this case, settled with the district as well. In a statement, Meta telling NBC News in part, quote, "We've resolved this case amicably and remain focused on our longstanding work to build protections like teen accounts that help teens stay safe online." Sticking with tech, Aura is preparing for a potential Wall Street debut. The smart ring maker says it has confidentially submitted paperwork to regulators, but it didn't disclose key details, including the number of shares or its exact timing. The company, which last year was valued at about $11 billion, has been growing rapidly as demand climbs for wearables. This move also comes as we've been talking a lot about IPOs this week, fueled in part by excitement by major debuts in tech and AI, including by SpaceX and possibly OpenAI and Anthropic. And if you've been missing those iconic glass bottles, ketchup bottles in particular, in stores, you'll be happy to know that Heinz is bringing them back, but only for a limited time. They're now available at Walmart, being sold for $2.50, with the company saying only while supplies last. This is the first time in almost a decade that we've seen them on shelves. Heinz is rolling them out in honor of its 157th anniversary. So a nod there, guys, to 57, which I'm sure you know is on the ketchup bottle. I don't know if you know, but allegedly you're supposed to hit the 57 if you really want to get the ketchup flowing out. Also, a fun fact, we don't exactly know where that number came from. There's rumors about Henry, the founder. 5 was his lucky number, 7 was his wife's, and the number just kind of stuck. But we don't really exactly know where 57 truly came from.
I could just tell you, as a longtime waiter, a lot of broken glass ketchup bottles on the floor in my history.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's all I think of when I see
violent.
Trying to get that ketchup out a little too hard.
There you go. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Coming up, we have finally made it to Friday. That can mean only one thing here on Morning News Now.
We've got your front row seat to the latest and greatest from the world of Hollywood, just in time for the Memorial Day long weekend. Settle in, grab that early morning popcorn. Everything you simply can't miss is up next.
Finally this hour, time for your weekly Can't Miss list.
A look at all the movies and shows that you just got to see this weekend.
Joining us again this week, David Correa, entertainment correspondent and host of the Husbanter podcast. Good to have you with us. No surprise what we're starting off with here. We've got the latest chapter in Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu, getting a ton of hype. I actually saw it. I can weigh in just a moment here, but what are we hearing about it?
You know, I am not a huge Star Wars fan, but it's almost 50 years of Star Wars.
Right, yeah.
And this is the first film that we're seeing since 2019's Episode 9. And great cast, Pedro Pascal, Sigourney Weaver. We were talking about a Grogu, a.k.a. Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
The cutest thing in the world.
Cutest thing on earth.
Yeah.
I was at the movies last night. It is loud. It is. I heard a couple cheers.
Oh, fun. I love an experience like that.
Baby Grogu, Baby Grogu is so adorable, and that's what makes the movie, I think, so compelling.
Yeah.
It's just you're constantly captivated by what he's going to do next. So
Yeah, like
for that alone, it's
He's
worth
a
it.
pop culture icon.
So cute.
There
I
you go.
want
Exactly.
him.
So young and already so famous.
Okay, I love boosters. You were just telling us you love this.
Yes, that's the movie I was seeing last night next to Star Wars. It is so it's ridiculous. It is absolutely out of this world, insane. And these actors, incredible cast, take it so seriously. It takes it to the next level. You have Demi Moore, Keke Palmer, a completely unrecognizable Don Cheadle.
Ooh.
It is from the world of Boots Riley, who if folks know him from Virgo and Sorry to Bother You. He knows how to make these visually compelling, comedic, but still very socially relevant movies. And this is a group of thieves who kind of Robin Hood us and tell us about corporate America and its downfall and how to change it. It is unserious and serious all at the same time.
Clearly you're recommending it, and we need stuff to do inside this weekend. So there's one option. If you're staying in and need streaming, we got the latest Jack Ryan Ghost War. So is this a movie about the series?
Yeah. Yes.
And tell us what we need to know. They also did a good job here. They sort of dropped like a little recap to help you catch up on things.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's
so the show ended after 4 seasons in 2023. If you have not watched the series, you don't have to. The movie stands alone completely on its own. John Krasinski is back as a CIA operative. But as you mentioned, if you do want some background, you can watch Prime dropped a 10-minute trailer of the entire series. So that way you get a little bit of background, but again, you don't need it. Great cast. Wendell Pierce is back. Michael Kelly is back, and Sienna Miller joins the cast as well.
Amazing. All right, we've got something new from the team behind Stranger Things.
Yes. So the Duffer Brothers are at it again, but this time they're taking us to a different level, retirement level. We're at a retirement community. Also, another great cast. You have Alfred Molina, you have Gina Davis, who I'm obsessed with, and it really does give you that same Stranger Things vibe, completely sci-fi. Alfred Molina moves into this neighborhood, and he starts to see strange things.
Apple has something called Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed. I guess it's a soccer mom who goes down a rabbit hole, and suddenly her life is not very soccer mom-esque anymore.
Yes, it is Tatiana Maslany. Folks may remember from Orphan Black. She is a divorcee, gets herself into a little bit of trouble, and then ends up being caught in blackmail and murder while still juggling all her soccer mom duties.
Can't give those up.
It is, you can't. That's
That
probably the most
sounds
important part. It is wild. 2 episodes are out, and new episodes drop every Wednesday. This is on Apple TV.
I love it. All right, let's end with new music. Olivia Rodrigo, another single out from her upcoming album. This one's called The Cure. What do you think? Are we like totally in on this for the summer?
I mean, I love Olivia Rodrigo. She's super cute. The album is You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love. That drops on June 12th, and this is all ahead of her tour, Unraveled, which starts on September 25th of this year. It's already sold out. The music video we're seeing here is her as a retro nurse mending broken hearts until she eventually becomes a victim herself. It's super cute.
That's cute. We went up and we
I
went
feel
down
like
there.
it might be the summer of Olivia here. So.
Yeah, I know, maybe. Awesome.
David,
That'd be
thank you so
fantastic.
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Great to see you.
That is going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now.
Stay with us, though. The news continues right now.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.